Hey, it's Dave. Thanks for checking out the video. Soon you're going to be watching an interview with Alex Efron of Collectors MD. But first, I just want to give you a heads up that the audio portion of this podcast has an introduction. And I thought it was pretty important to include that audio introduction along with the video interview with Alex. But there is no video for the introduction, but the sound is there. So if you can just hang in there for about 8 minutes, get through the 8 minute introduction with just my words, even though it will be a black screen or maybe some sort of a title screen, I promise from then it gets to the interview with Alex, which is full video. So again, I really appreciate you checking this out. Take care and have a good day. Last week, I was doom scrolling hobby Instagram, as one does, when I came across a story from Alex Efron, the man behind Collectors MD. You might be familiar with Collectors MD. It's the organization founded by Alex to help people in the hobby who struggle with gambling addiction and addictive behavior. The story Alex shared was flabbergasting. It was so stunning, I almost didn't believe it was real. It was a marketing campaign for Arena Club, the sports card and repacking company owned by Brian Lee. Last March, Lee told Sports Illustrated that Arena Club was built on, quote, technology, innovation, and transparency. Let's let that final word, transparency, hang in the air for a few seconds. One of Arena Club's most interesting and marketed products are called slab packs. I would describe Arena Club slab packs as above board repacks. Arena Club is transparent about what is in the packs, odds, inventory, everything repacks should be. And I wish all repackers would be as diligent and meticulous in their disclosures as Arena Club. Repacks are, in my opinion, also a form of unregulated gambling. But if you want to be kind, one might call them gambling adjacent. When Alex Efron looks at repacks, he sees organizations treating sports cards the way states treat lotteries and casinos treat roulette wheels. Last month, Arena Club even entered into a formal partnership with Yahoo Fantasy Sports. Fantasy sports, for many, is another form of gambling. And yes, full disclosure, I began playing fantasy sports in the 1990s and never stopped. I'm also older than 21 years old. I'm an adult. Which brings me back to the IG story shared by Alex. Here's a clip.
Let's open some more Arena Club slab packs. First up, silver. Here we go, first bag of the day. Okay, Michael Penix, red, white, and blue rookie card. That's a Prism rookie.
With Arena Club slab packs, it's possible to pull gem mints at a fraction of their retail price, just like this downtown Bijan Robinson.
Let's move on to gold. Here we go, gold football. Let's go. Stained glass Justin Jefferson. PSA 10. We got a chase card. That was the best gold pack ever.
Once your cards are revealed, they'll immediately...
That is 13-year-old Big Justice, a child influencer hawking Arena Club slab packs. He and his dad, AJ, are two of the most popular and trusted digital influencers of kids in the United States today. They've done content with The Rizzler, an even younger and possibly even more popular child influencer. Earlier this year, my kid went to Disney World for a dance competition and ran into AJ and Big Justice. They could not have been nicer or more engaging. And good for them for making the most of their fame for however long it lasts. But here's the problem. What marketing specialists know and what academic studies support is that kids are influenced by other kids. When a kid or cartoon character is used to promote a product, most of the time is to promote it to other kids. It's a deliberate choice. I reached out to Arena Club over IG for comment, but did not hear back. In fairness to them, it is Thanksgiving week, so their social media and marketing teams might be on vacation. Here's another clip from the Arena Club Big Justice Marketing Partnership.
Let's open some Arena Club slab packs. First up, silver. Let's see what silver's got in store. Here we go, silver. Let's see what we get. Okay, JJ McCarthy cracked ice. That's a nice one. I'm definitely adding that into the showroom. Stepping it up to gold.
With Arena Club slab packs, it's possible to pull gem mints for a fraction of their retail price, just like this Patrick Mahomes PSA 1010 rookie auto.
All right, let's see what gold's got for us. Come on. Okay, Patrick, 2017. Wait, that's a rookie Patrick Mahomes. I gotta ship this one home.
Here we are in late 2025, and a well-funded, high-profile sports card company is using a child to market its gambling-adjacent product. It is not illegal. Arena Club is not breaking any laws, and neither are AJ and Big Justice. It's just icky. It's gross. It's disappointing. It says all we need to know about Arena Club and its ownership and its ultimate motivations. Today's guest on the shallow end is Alex Efron. He and Collectors MD have grown considerably since we spoke almost 6 months ago. Collectors MD now has official mental health and counseling partners that sports card collectors can turn to when they need help. He hosts weekly online support meetings that are similar to Gamblers Anonymous and other support groups. I've sat in a couple of times, and while they're confidential, I can say that the work he's doing is inspiring and beyond necessary. Addiction and compulsive behavior take many forms in the sports card hobby, whether it's the impulsive purchasing of singles, addiction to breaks and online breaking casinos like Whatnot and Fanatics Live, repacks, constant overspending, and other pitfalls in the hobby that can affect one's mental health. Collectors MD now hosts podcasts about sports cards and safe behavior, and it has entered into partnerships with some of the hobby's most recognizable companies, including Card Ladder and Market Movers. And yes, they are direct competitors. But as Alex says, making the hobby a safer place isn't about competition. And also, yes, Market Movers / Sports Card Investor does have a direct business relationship with Arena Club. But as Alex also says, you can affect more change from within than you can from the outside. Today's episode is a bit of a check-in with Alex and Collectors MD. We learn more about their mission and how they're gaining awareness in the hobby, their efforts to get companies to regulate themselves, building community, and more. Toward the end, Alex shares his thoughts on Arena Club and 13-year-old Big Justice. Mostly, I wanted to do this episode to remind all of us, to remind the entire hobby that just because we talked about sports cards and addiction last summer, it doesn't mean we can't also talk about it now and tomorrow and for as long as people are collecting sports cards. Epidemics such as addictive behavior, unhealthy behavior, and companies that lure our friends and family with casino-like tactics don't have short-term fixes. We need to have longer attention spans, especially when it comes to this. Thanks for listening to The Shallow End. I'm Dave, Iowa Dave Sports Cards on Instagram. And if you feel like you or someone you know or love is struggling in the sports card hobby, a great first step is to visit collectorsmd.com. Now, let's get to the conversation with Alex. Really happy now to welcome back into The Shallow End. He is the force behind Collectors MD. He is Alex. He's the host of the Collectors Compass podcast as well. Happy holidays, Alex. It's nice to have you here.
Thanks, Dave. Happy holidays to you as well. Really appreciate the intro, and it's great to be back on.
So I think my first question for you is why have you not solved gambling in the hobby yet? No, I'm kidding. No,
I can answer that if you'd like.
No, I kind of do. But the reason I'm so happy to have you back on because you've done such amazing work with shining a light on addiction in the hobby, on companies that use gambling type tactics to lure people in, marketing tactics and whatnot. And just since you started Collectors MD, you've really driven the conversation. And I'm excited to have you back on now to see where things are now. What are some of the things you're trying to do, and what types of progress or lack of progress have you seen in different areas? So the floor is yours, and I look forward to hearing how things are going.
Yeah, well, first of all, I really appreciate the sort of part two of this conversation. I think we last spoke early in the summertime. I can't even keep track anymore because we've been having so many amazing conversations across the board with folks both in the hobby and gambling prevention spaces that have been, like you, just incredibly supportive and getting behind everything we're doing. And the biggest thing is, like, we can't solve this problem by only reaching a handful of folks. Like, we have to reach the masses. We have to cast a wide net and spread awareness and educate and reach as many people as we humanly can, right? So I'm really glad that you framed it that way, because where Collectors MD is right now feels very different from when we last spoke. Back then, it was still really a concept, just finding its footing, right? Today, it's an active, evolving support system with real structure, real people, and real momentum behind it. We're running consistent peer support meetings every single week, which I really appreciate you attending a few of them. We're building out professional referral pathways. We're collaborating with recovery organizations and mental health providers, and having direct conversations with platforms, shops, industry leaders. I mentioned some of these organizations and coalitions within the gambling prevention space, all about responsibility and accountability. And the truth is, the need hasn't gone away. If anything, it's even more visible than it's ever been, especially with all of the latest drama that's been going on in the hobby lately. And so the culture of things like breaking and impulse buying and dopamine driven hype, it hasn't slowed down. And so neither can the conversation, right? So what feels most important right now is that we don't let compulsive collecting fade into the background just because the market cooled or the headlines moved or focused elsewhere. This isn't a trend. It's a behavioral issue playing out inside a hobby that people really love and care about. And so Collectors MD sits right in that space, not anti-hobby like we always talk about, but pro-awareness, pro-support, and pro-sustainability. So where we're at today is less about, raising awareness and more about building the infrastructure and making sure that there's an actual place for people to land when they start to realize that they need help, guidance, or, a healthier way forward. So that's the phase we're in now. We're growing, we're raising the awareness, but really building that infrastructure and making sure that we're partnering with the right organizations and creating the right alliances so that we can help these wider audiences has been the number one priority as of late.
When you reach out to an organization or a company to partner with or to consult, how do you talk about what you do, and what are some of the responses that you hear back from these organizations?
Yeah, well, it's been a mixed bag in terms of, outreach or inbound opportunities, and it's happened very organically, right? As I have more conversations with organizations and card shops and industry leaders about what we're doing at Collectors MD, other people, other industry leaders, other experts in the space are paying attention, and they understand the demand. They understand that this is a completely unaccounted for space. It has been for far too long. There's been a need for this for years. And now that somebody is finally doing it in the form of a full-fledged movement, people want to get on board. People want to be a part of that, that sort of mission. And so the conversations have been incredible. I mean, Dave, I come from the world of advertising and marketing, where I spent 13 years selling things like, digital pixels on a phone screen or print ads in a newspaper. Like, I wasn't sort of doing anything impactful or meaningful that was making a direct impact on people's livelihoods. And so with Collectors MD, we're helping people, at like wherever they are in their journeys, and so it's amazing to see this community sort of materialize and come together and support one another. And I would say, like, every conversation we have with these different organizations, they all want to get on board. They all want to support it in some capacity, whether that be, a co-branded campaign around responsible ripping, or layering in our tools and resources into their ecosystem. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that we can work together, but it seems that most, if not all, folks that we're talking to want to work with Collectors MD in some capacity, which is really amazing. It's humbling, but it's powerful. It's something that has been, again, needed for far too long.
As you've gotten further along through this process of growing Collectors MD and reaching out to people and creating support for people and creating accountability within the marketplace, what is something that you've noticed that has really encouraged you? And the other side of that is, what is something that continues to frustrate you?
I think something that really encourages me is, again, our community coming together and supporting one another. It's not just me leading the meetings, it's people stepping up and looking out for their peers, looking out for other folks who are going through the same struggles, right? This is a peer support movement. It's not a leader movement. And so I've hammered that home from day one, and everybody within our weekly meetings, our group chat, our Discord, they all support one another. And it's such a beautiful thing to watch and be a part of. And so that's really encouraging, knowing that there are people out there that might be struggling, but they also want to help other people, right? They want to support their neighbors, even if they don't know them, even if they're complete strangers. And so you've seen it. We have weekly meetings, people share what they're going through, and it's not just me providing feedback or helping them get through these tough times. It's the other folks that are also going through these issues that are stepping up and providing really thoughtful and candid feedback and support, and that has just been so encouraging. And then, as far as something that I do get frustrated with, it's sort of the lack of like, a lot of people just don't want to see something for what it is. They look at it surface level, and that's all they care about. They judge a book by its cover, so to speak. So they see Collectors MD partnering with an organization in the hobby that maybe they find polarizing, or that they don't like or support, and they just automatically assume that we're, by association, we have these malicious intentions, or we're not really mission based, or we're losing credibility, things like that. That's not what it's about. It's about reaching these wide audiences, like I mentioned, right? Like, for instance, if you look at the gambling industry, right, there's a reason why you see a 1-800-GAMBLERS or 1-800-GAMBLER hotline number on every single casino or sportsbook ad, right? It doesn't mean 1-800-GAMBLER, which, by the way, is a company, is an organization. It doesn't mean they're endorsing gambling behavior. It means they're providing a layer of support for the people that might need it. And so you can look at Collectors MD sort of through the same lens, where when we're partnering with breakers and card shops, we're not endorsing like malicious behavior or irresponsible and predatory tactics. And I'm not saying that any of the organizations that we partnered with sort of do those things, but everybody in the sports card world, if you rip on Whatnot, you are automatically placed in that bucket, right? And so you're not going to be able to make an impact by standing on the outside looking in. You have to be inside of the conversation, making noise, so that you can help and reach those people that actually need the support. And many of those people are either customers, users, consumers, whatever you want to call them, to a lot of these organizations that we're partnering with. I hope that makes sense.
It does.
I
It
kind
does.
of,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you've never said once, I've never heard you say once that you are trying to get rid of the sports card hobby. You're not trying to get rid of breaking. You're not trying to get rid of people buying singles. You're trying to spread awareness of certain behaviors that lead to destructive patterns, right?
Right. That's exactly right.
So in these meetings that you've talked about, these support meetings, I assume there are people who have been going for a while now and those who are trickling in occasionally for the first time or for the second time. Are you seeing any sort of patterns in the people who are coming in with the types of things that they are talking about that they are dealing with themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely mirrors a lot of what we see in Gamblers Anonymous, traditional, support group meetings, where people have, tendencies, whether it be addictive, obsessive, and it's having a direct negative impact on their not just financial well-being, but their mental health, their emotional well-being. It's impacting the people around them, their family members, friends, colleagues, whoever. And I would say that what we're seeing is the Collectors MD program and our recovery guide is providing them with a foundation to stay on track, stay on course, be held accountable, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna like BS you. Like, we've had a handful of people come and go. We've had some folks that were consistently joining meetings week after week, and then suddenly poof, they're gone. And I reach out, I want to make sure they're okay, they're doing well, and some folks respond, some don't. But it's not like a foolproof program where like you join this group and suddenly you recover from addiction. That's not how any recovery group works. It's a lifelong commitment, and it's every single day is a step toward recovery, but that recovery never ends. You always have to put in the work. And so again, there are a lot of parallels between what we're doing and what type of support is offered in these traditional group settings, recovery group settings, like GA, like NA, like AA. But the difference is we are a full-fledged movement. So beyond just the weekly meetings, there are multiple touch points. There's the group chats, there's the Discord, there's our social media presence, the educational content we put out, the podcast, the editorial franchises, the partnerships, the tools and resources that we offer our community members. So it's a full-fledged ecosystem. And one other thing that I think is really important to bring up is that a lot of people have a hard time sort of slowing down or walking away from something they've been a part of for a long time because they're afraid of losing that sense of community, especially within the hobby, right? They feel like if I walk away and stop collecting or abstain completely, then I'm no longer going to be able to interact with these people that I've interacted with every single day for however long. People feel like they've made a lot of friends. They go to card shows, they go to different events, they link up with whoever digitally, virtually, in live streams and social media, etc. The most important thing is that we still offer that sense of community and camaraderie. It exists within Collectors MD. It's just amongst people who want to help one another, who want to hold each other accountable, who want to, proceed with the hobby or abstain completely. Again, we offer two lanes, but do so in a mindful and responsible way.
You mentioned the partnerships, and every now and then through your social media feeds, we'll see that you've entered into a partnership with a group. What are some of the partnerships and how do they benefit Collectors MD and the people who Collectors MD seeks to help?
Yeah, so we have a few different buckets of partnerships, or I should say different types of partnerships. The first is our referral network. These are individuals, so therapists, doctors, clinicians. We just brought in a financial advisor, individuals who can provide that layered support depending on what the individual is going through. We want to be able to, again, meet folks where they are and provide whatever service that they might be looking for. And so the more folks that we can add to this referral network, the better, because it gives people more options. Beyond just partnering with folks on the individual level, we're also partnering with organizations like Birch's Health, Right Choice Recovery, Better Way of Miami. And so these sort of partnerships with long-standing nonprofit organizations or facilities dedicated to things like addiction recovery, mental health support, community care, it allows us, again, to provide our community with layers of support wherever they are in their journey, and to be able to select a group, a facility, an organization based on what they're going through. So for instance, Birch's Health offers telehealth support for any and everybody dealing with gambling addiction, behavioral issues, compulsive collecting, which is obviously a layer that they've added. Right Choice Recovery is a local facility here in New Jersey that offers outpatient and inpatient treatment for folks that are dealing with not just gambling issues, but substance abuse. And then Better Way of Miami, which is our most recent partnership within the space, like Right Choice, offers their patients things like outpatient programming and telehealth and one-on-one therapy sessions, things like that. So there are multiple options that people can choose from based on what they're going through. And then beyond just the referral network, we also are partnering with hobby organizations, whether it be break shops, card shops, platforms, to promote our responsible ripping messaging. And so these are mission-aligned brands and companies that want to get behind what we're doing and provide their customers that sense of, hey, we're looking out for you. We understand that this hobby can be a slippery slope, and we want to make sure that we're providing you with the tools and resources so that if things start to go down that dark path, you have a safety net to fall back on. So we've partnered with My Card Post, which is a relatively new marketplace with, I believe they're now at 16,000 users and $4 million in transactions over the last 3 years, I think it is. Their founder, Mark Hill, was just on the Collectors Compass podcast last week. We had an amazing conversation with him, and he's been really supportive. And so we're doing some co-branding with them. We partnered with, I mentioned yesterday, Market Movers. So Jeff Wilson's platform, which provides tools, resources around things like card prices, comps, data, etc. And so that, again, provides our intentional collectors with that layer of support to proceed with the hobby, but in a more mindful and intentional way. Same thing with Card Ladder. Obviously, Market Movers and Card Ladder are direct competitors. They offer very similar services, but it's not about competition. It's about making sure that we're offering as many tools and resources that people can leverage as part of their collecting journeys. And so Chris Hodge, who is the co-founder of Card Ladder, also is on the Collectors Compass. He's been on 2 episodes now, and he's fantastic and has been incredibly supportive. And we have many more rolling out. I didn't even mention Gamben. So that's app blocking software that people can download on their phone, which allows you to basically prevent yourself from going into apps like Whatnot, Fanatics, eBay. They originally just offered the traditional gambling apps like DraftKings, FanDuel, those types of apps, but they've recognized, they've acknowledged that break culture has become synonymous with gambling. And so they've added these hobby related platforms as well. So if anybody is struggling with addiction and feels like they can't find a way out, or they need to protect themselves, they could download Gamben, get that software on their phone, and sort of add that safeguard, add that layer of protection where they won't be able to access Whatnot and Fanatics at 2 a.m. when they're tossing and turning and they feel that devil on their shoulder trying to rip the wheel away from their conscience. So again, we're continuing to partner with organizations, like-minded organizations across each of these verticals. We have half a dozen rolling out in the next couple weeks, so be on the lookout for that. But we're doing some really, really amazing things, and we're really, really grateful for all of the support we've received to date.
I just have one more question about the partnerships, and then I want to jump topics.
Yeah,
a little bit. The ones that are the partnerships that are about helping people, the sessions, the app locking, I get those. The ones that you have, the partnerships that Collectors MD has with My Card Post, with Card Ladder, with Market Movers, what do those partnerships look like, and what are you hoping that those larger organizations do? And in terms of, well, I don't even want to put an answer in your mouth. What are you hoping to gain out of those types of partnerships?
Yeah. So the Market Movers partnership is actually an extension of another partnership we're building with Jeff Wilson's, one of his other entities, Cards HQ, which is, his main card shop in Atlanta. And they've become one of the biggest hobby shops in the entire country. And so it all centers around what we call the Rip Responsibly campaign. And so the big picture, the Rip Responsibly mission, is to normalize responsible, intentional ripping in live breaks and personal collecting, and to give collectors visual reminders and language around limits, boundaries, and support right where the behavior is happening, right? Whether it be on the desk, in the break, on screen. And so the specific goal is to create co-branded stands, break mats, desk accessories that carry the hashtag Rip Responsibly message or mantra. And so we layer in this messaging and subtle prompts about intention and mindful spending and support all within the ecosystem. So Jeff's team is working on like a 30-second video clip of him talking about why responsible collecting is important, and that if you feel like you're starting to overextend, you can reach out or go to our website, Collectors MD's website. And yeah, so it's all about sort of co-branded messaging. We have, custom landing pages where shops, breakers, and creators can actually purchase these items. Am I able to share my screen? Because this actually just went live today.
Yeah, give it a shot. Let's see if you can do that.
All right, hold on one sec. There we go. Oh wait,
there you go.
There we go. Awesome. Yeah. So I was just showing them an example of one of the stickers that they're working on, along with the stand-up display stand here. So this is what
real quick, if you're listening to this podcast, and now this will be on YouTube, but also on audio. If you're listening right now, Alex has just pulled up some of these branded types of materials as part of the Rip Responsibly campaign. So that's what we're looking at right now. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we have like card stands, we have backdrops, we have card mats. And the idea here, again, is to subtly layer in the Rip Responsibly messaging so that, people see it and they go, oh, what's that? That's interesting, right? What's Collectors MD? And Jeff has this recurring video that rolls through their live breaks. I guess his plan is to do it between every break. And it serves as that disclaimer that, gambling brands or gambling companies and alcohol brands do, right? It's a part of their corporate responsibility because of the Gaming Commission and, other rules and regulations that require them to layer in this messaging rather than, following a law, so to speak. Our partners are being proactive in acknowledging that there's a real problem here, and we want to offer that layer of support for our customers. You can also purchase just Collectors MD branded merchandise here as well, the card mat, the backdrop, the card stand, if you want to just support the movement and continue to get the word out. This isn't about like making money or profiting or anything like that. This is just about continued spread awareness and making sure that the Rip Responsibly mantra, the collect with intention, not compulsion tagline that we use, is in front of as many people as possible. So we're partnering with Chronic Cards on this. They've been incredibly helpful and supportive, and there's going to be more things rolling out like stickers and We're also working with Stand Up Displays, which is actually an entity of Jeff Wilson's as well, to sort of have alternate stands. But that really is the theme behind the Rip Responsibly campaigns that we're rolling out with these different card shops and break groups. But with Card Ladder and Market Movers and My Card Post, it's really more so just about layering in subtle messaging, because like those companies don't run breaks or sell product per se, but they still want to be able to provide their customers, their user base, with that extra layer of support. Like we endorse responsible ripping, we endorse responsible collecting. If you have a problem, here's where to go. And then vice versa, Collectors MD is offering these tools and resources to our intentional collecting vertical, so that those individuals can continue their hobbies, but in a more responsible and mindful way.
The other day, I think it was a repack company. They had an ad that was running on social with the father and son influencer team of AJ and Big Justice. And I think it was repacking, in which a kid is opening repacks and getting excited for it. The dad's saying, "What'd you get? What did you get?" Since Collectors MD has gotten moving, I think as the word spreads, people understand that breaking is just basically an online casino. But repacks have really gained momentum.
Yeah.
And this has been one of the things that you have tried to talk about as well. I saw that post because you shared it. What was, as someone who worked in marketing the way that you did, what was your reaction when you saw the company using a kid to market repacks?
It's completely irresponsible. It's exploitative. It's predatory. I mean, these are the things that come to mind. I mean, one thing that's become, it's something that's become absolutely impossible to ignore, right? It's this direction that some parts of the industry, unfortunately, are heading, especially around the repack products and how they're marketed. You know, the way they advertise with using a child to promote something that is quite literally gambling, or sending a message saying, "We missed you, come back," trying to reel us back in if we've stepped away. When you look at platforms like Arena Club, we're talking about Arena Club here. Is it okay that I mention them?
100%.
Okay. And like this broader sort of repack ecosystem, what raises concern isn't just the product itself, right? It's the language and psychology that's surrounding it. We're seeing this messaging that feels eerily similar to gambling promotion. Chase the monster hit, like life-changing pulls, don't miss your shot, come back, we miss you. Like it's designed to trigger urgency, fantasy, and dopamine. And what's even more troubling is how often this is packaged in a way that clearly appeals to these younger audiences, the young collectors. You have the flashy visuals, you have the hype-driven influencers, kids we're talking about, and content that like really just blurs the line between hobby fun and high-risk behavior. So the issue isn't about whether someone likes or agrees with the concept of a repack, which is gambling, but that's a separate conversation. The issue is when the marketing specifically leans into manipulation instead of like honesty and transparency. When the odds aren't clear, the risks aren't explained, the emotional hooks are doing more work than the actual value, that's where it becomes predatory, especially when minors or emotionally vulnerable collectors are watching and absorbing this as normal behavior. They're being conditioned, right? And so that's what we're trying to keep press and make sure people are educated and understand this, because if we don't name this stuff, if we don't call it out, right, the next generation of collectors are going to end up growing up thinking this is just how the hobby works. This is just what collecting looks like now. It's all about chasing and overspending and emotional whiplash, and that's just a part of the fun. So again, Dave, our goal isn't to cancel the hobby, it's to protect it, to bring back things like intention, to create spaces where excitement doesn't come at the cost of mental health or financial harm. especially for these young, impressionable kids who don't have the tools or the wherewithal to recognize the manipulationing that's happening in plain sight right in front of them, right? That's the conversation that we're committed to keeping alive, because we want a safer, healthier, and more sustainable future for the hobby.
And that conversation is everything. It's when the conversation stops that the sort of the darkness continues to creep in. So I've enjoyed talking with you today. Thank you, and continued good work with what you're doing with Collectors MD. I look forward to talking with you again another few months down the line, just to see what new developments are happening, other new partnerships, and ways that you can continue to help people, and people can help themselves and help their fellow collectors. Before we go, though, just talk about where people can find you, where people can find Collectors MD, and maybe if they want to jump on a meeting, how they can do that.
Absolutely. So we have a few different outlets. We're on pretty much all social media. So Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Threads, Discord, Reddit, LinkedIn, you name it. Like, we are syndicating our content wherever people are consuming content. We also have 3 podcasts. So the Collectors Compass, Behind the Breaks, and Collectors MD Features. This episode will be syndicated as part of Collectors MD Features. We want to make sure that people can hear and consume any and all content that is being put out there, whether we're hosting it or one of our partners or supporters is hosting. You can watch or listen to those videos, those podcasts on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, pretty much any major streaming platform. If you want to check out our tools, resources, editorial content, you can go to collectorsmd.com. And then from there, you can also sign up for our weekly meetings. There's a drop-down menu under resources, first tab, weekly meetings, or you can click on sign up for our weekly peer support meetings. It takes you to a very straightforward Google form. You answer a few questions, and we can get you added to the calendar invite. And those meetings are every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're obviously skipping this week because of Thanksgiving, but we also have a second meeting on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. That is in partnership with the Problem Gambling Coalition of Colorado. Those meetings are called Unboxed, powered by Collectors MD. And if you'd like to learn more about those, you can email info@collectorsmd.com or just shoot me a DM on Instagram and I'll get back to you. So there's a lot more, but I try to keep it as contained as possible. But Dave, thank you so much for your ongoing support. You've been an incredible ambassador and just really great friend as I continue to navigate this journey. It is not a one-man show. It's not a one-man mission. And so any and all support that we can get from the community is so incredibly appreciated. So I just wanted to thank you again for all that you do as well.
Alex Efron, Collectors MD, happy holidays, and thanks for being on.
Take care.